Welcome to In the Know. We are back and we're going to talk about the Pelicans' recent woes and some of the good stuff they've been doing. So tune in.
The New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson.
And Holiday, the dribble penetration. So tough going to the goal. High above the rim to rip it down.
Hello, I am Shamit, joined by Mason and Jeremy. We are coming at you after the Pelicans and Hawks game on Sunday night, in which the Pelicans entertained us for about 3.5 quarters and let go of the rope completely. Mason, Jeremy, it's been a while since the three of us have actually been able to get together. We are finally back. I wish it was under better circumstances. What's been good with y'all?
Speaking of woes, I said whoa as Dyson Daniel talked cash shit after another three he made tonight.
So, no, Mason, you were about to say something?
Been a roller coaster, and most we've been at the bottom for most of it. But there've been some good things to talk about. So we'll mix it up.
So let's talk about Dyson for a second. This man. Okay, Bi was guarding him in the corner, giving him like 17 feet of space. It's an exaggeration, but very clearly, shoot it. You won't. Dyson jab step. Okay, fine, bet. Pull up, cash.
Yeah, man.
Cash turns around, whole bench, sprays the whole bench. The whole bench. He emptied the full clip, and
hey man, when Larry banking threes on you and Dyson talking cash shit, and it just ain't your night. You just gotta laugh at it at that point, man.
I ain't never ever seen him act that way. That's crazy.
Never see you act this way.
That's crazy. That was shout out Dyson Daniels.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Larry Nance.
Yes, sir.
They were fantastic tonight for the Hawks, who, they both, I think they combined for like 30 points together, the two of them, which I don't know has ever happened ever in a Pelicans uniform. I don't know if they ever had double digits together in on the same night, but they maybe they were like, yeah, you know what, we can score it too. Y'all just forgot about it. Y'all you never gave us a chance.
Yeah, that might be true for one of the two.
Hey, they went full Chris Paul. I know this place. I do.
We were joking up in Media Row, sitting next to David Grubb and Terry Kimball, and talking about like how Dyson was starting the game off of Bi and just like in his jersey from the beginning. Bi finished the night. He had a great efficient night from the floor, but 6 turnovers, and boy, Dyson was responsible for just about all of them. And just a menace. The Hawks were, I think, plus 30 or plus 29, something like that in the Dyson Daniels minutes, something obscene. And the Pelicans, when I last checked, they had an offensive rating of 87.2 and a true shooting of 45% when Dyson was out there, and that kind of matched the eye test. That boy good defensively.
Hashtag revenge game.
Hashtag revenge game. So, 2 games have happened since we talked about the disappointing stuff in Portland and in Golden State. The Pelicans won a home game against the Indiana Pacers. They closed out with executing a clutch offense, and they won against a high-powered offensive team. Let's talk about the Pacers game and bring it back around to the Hawks game. There's a lot more positives from that Pacers game. We will start from the top. The Stars, they did their job. Mason, just it's been a minute since I've gone to chat with you. Bi and Zion playing well together. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah. Happy to see those two guys finally. I mean, I don't know. The numbers last year, they showed that 2 of those 3 between, Brandon, Zion, and CJ being good together. It was all 3. It was kind of like meh. But I think Zion had a Zion game. I think that was like the number one thing. Like I feel like Brandon's been, doing Brandon things, good and bad Brandon things throughout the season, but we hadn't really seen a Zion game, and like that Friday was a Zion game. And so I enjoyed watching him play for the first time all season, or I guess the team since the opening night. But I was I guess it was short lived because here we are 2 nights later. But I'll try to stay positive. It was a very fun game. A lot of good things to take away from it, not just the stars.
Yeah,
His
but
first career 30-10 game from an assists perspective. But yeah, Jeremy.
no, I'm going to stick it with the stars because me and Shamit called them out, so we got to lift them up. It's not that they played well; they played well together. That's what I love the most about it. Like I said, in the clutch time, it was both inverted pick and rolls and Bi and Zion being ball handlers and making the correct decision time and time again, and it left efficient offense, including just a beautiful pass, a wraparound pass with Bi, bounce pass, get to Z with an and one. So. Yeah, man, your stars play like stars in both games. Well, the star that played both games played like a star in both games. But hey, I liked what I saw for the last 2 games from both Zion and Bi, so I can't complain about them. Good job, fellas.
Good job, fellas. Yeah, no, the Pacers stars did not play
No,
like stars that night. Tyrese Halliburton continuing his slump just looks broken, man. That guy, I was watching him do warm ups and actually kind of posted on our YouTube channel, him taking warm up shots from three. And you could see for yourself, it's on the channel. He wasn't even hitting threes in warm ups. And he's always had a weird form. It's always been a little weird, but man, that guy is not look like the guy he was for the first 30 games or so last year.
I asked this before in another avenue in the watch party, Duncan Spot watch party. Check them out if you can. How much does he miss Buddy Hield? Because they would use that guard pick and roll, and Buddy would spray out and have so much gravity and open everything. And since the trade, that offense just doesn't look the same to me.
You saying the Pacers are Buddy Hield merchants?
I'm saying it's Tyrese Halliburton, the Buddy Hield merchant.
I think we're all Buddy Hield merchants. Oh, man. So, look, you mentioned them executing at the end of the game. You mentioned their pick and rolls. We talked to Willie Green about it, and he's like, yeah, man, like, honestly, just love being able to space the floor out for them and let them go to work, do their thing. Credit to them. They got the job done. I think the Pelicans also got really good contributions up and down the bench. A lot of guys in double figures. Is there anyone in particular you want to touch on first, Mason?
I mean, Brandon Boston seems like the obvious guy, right? Because he had a great game again tonight. I mean, I didn't see this coming. I mean, I kept thinking, did he get taken with the pick the Pelicans originally had? Like, was it
Yep.
It was their pick, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I kept thinking, like, I didn't know if I was making that up, but yeah, it's funny to see things come full circle like this and have them actually, play really well for us. I mean, like, a lot of it seems, I don't know, I don't want to say sustainable after 2 games, but I mean, he passes the eye test too. It's not just like the numbers look good. Like he's playing solid ball.
Yeah. Jay, I saw you tweeting about him today. Just these last couple of games that he's had when he's been thrust into rotation, just what have been your impressions?
Hey, man, you only got a couple shots and you got to take advantage of them if he did. One play I didn't like was, B.I. is using himself as a screener more this year than I've ever seen. And he tried to free himself up and he didn't hit B.I. That being said, it was a great drive. He just missed at the rim, which was a frequent situation for non-Brandon Ingram players tonight. But like Mason said, he passed the eye test. I don't know about the points. I didn't look that up, but everything he makes quick decisions. Most of those are putting the ball in the basket, but he makes quick decisions, and he's attentive defensively. And, he might stick around, man. He looks the part.
Yeah, the Pelicans have needed sort of a spark plug off the bench, and Jose can only do so much. And look, like Jordan, like everyone else on this roster, frankly, Brandon Boston's role is going to be dramatically different when 5 top 100 players are back in the rotation. Five players who by themselves could probably will a team to the playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference. Like it's unbelievable. But, historically, there has been minutes available for those type of guys, right? Najee has found himself starting games in the past. Najee has found himself playing 35 minutes in the past. This is a team where opportunity will come if you're prepared. And I would, I'm very pleased with what Brandon Boston has brought in the last couple of games. Tonight, 14 points on 10 shots, I believe, and it got to the free throw line 6 times. Like, that's pretty incredible. Put in 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. We don't, we can work on that, but he's going to be handling the ball a lot less when the main dudes are back. So it'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be cool if they can convert him to a regular roster spot. I hope he continues to produce, and I hope he finds a legitimate home here as well. But let's talk about Jordan Hawkins, who actually he's had, I would say, a very interesting start to the year. He's had outbursts that are very, very good, and then he's had moments that are very, very rough, and which is, second year player. It's expected. Against the Pacers, 23 points, 7 of 17 shooting, 2 of 8 from 3, but got to the free throw line 8 times, and most importantly, 0 turnovers. All around, I would say a good game with the Pacers, and then tonight against the Hawks, just the complete opposite. 7 of 18, so similar kind of from the field, but 4 turnovers. And yeah, I mean, it's a little tough.
Well, I mean, asking him to be the second best offensive creator is just a tough assignment regardless. I don't know. You need the shots to fall. It'll look much better if it was 9 of 18 instead of 7 of 18. But at the same token, like I said, the Pacers game, when there's another guy taking up so much gravity and he can work off of that, you see the difference in efficiency by having Zion there. Tonight we asked way too much of a guy who we already know his struggle is he can't create on his own off the dribble. He has to be moving instead of trying to create off his own off a screen. Even though he did have one step back 3 today, but you don't want that to be his priority, his number one usage for offense. And it was a struggle, but again, every non-BI and Boston player kind of struggled offensively tonight, including our boy Missi.
Oh my gosh, Missi definitely looked like a rookie for the first time. I think for this being the 7th game, 7th game for him to really look like a rookie tonight, I think is optimistic. He's gonna have those nights. We haven't even seen him against.
And Trae Young's going to do that to any big, let alone a rookie.
Oh yeah, and Capella's a vet, man. He's been doing this for a minute. He knows how to get the positions. He knows he's a monster rebounder.
Yeah.
It's part of the learning curve, and Willie spoke on it and how that this is going to be valuable for Eve going forward, and it is.
Yeah.
But Missi had a great night against Miles Turner.
Sure did. Sure. Hey, was it? I don't know if it was Mason or it was Jake that said. I think it might have been Jake that Missi just ended all Miles Turner's trade talks after that dunk.
You know what? With how the Pelicans are lacking in the centers, I don't think that those trade talks are over yet. And I don't know if there's a trade to be made there, but they should close that book. However, Missi put Turner through the basket and then blocked his shot.
Yes,
oh my
sir.
gosh, it was great to see.
Yeah,
He
flexed on he let him know that I'm here. Like, it don't matter what you doing, you may shoot. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. And I think he had 10 rebounds that game too. So he put his stamp on the game as a rookie.
Yeah, 5 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter.
Yep. There we go.
Team high +7 in the fourth quarter. Just truly impactful, getting the job done and creating new possessions for the team. And that's the exciting stuff. That's the exciting stuff that we're all itching to see with DeJounte.
Yep.
With Trey, with CJ, with Herb. I mean, look, man, I'm a fan of the Jamal Cain signing. He did some work tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, do I want Herb Jones playing those minutes. Boy, do I want Trey Murphy playing those minutes.
Yes. Even JRE had a good first half, and it's And if only if that was Trey Murphy and not JRE, it'll look so much better for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So there we
Do we have
go.
Mason back finally?
Mason's back. Mason's back.
Maybe not. I don't think you can hear us.
Can you hear us, Mason? Oh no.
Well,
Anyway.
we'll continue until he
sir.
figures out what's going on his end. However, man, let's talk about JRE for a second. Just a really, really, really good performance on the offensive glass, and then a really, really, really poor performance in finishing layups.
I posted on Twitter today that Brandon Ingram was 3 or 4 at the rim. Every other Pelican was 7 of 20. And you just see him not being able to finish. Him, Tice, Missi, like everyone would get to the rim.
Missi missed the dunk.
He missed the dunk. Like it was so bad. It was comical. Like I was no longer upset. Like this is why talent matters. So like JRE, he actually did a lot of good things today. He didn't miss assignments on defense. He was making himself available on offense. It was nice screens. And then he had to put the ball in the basket. And apparently the Larry Nance that we had last year went in JRE's body. And I don't know what the hell happened with Larry Nance today. This is a Larry. It's game 7. It's prior to election day. And, shouts out to Larry. That shirt was awesome. Protect, guard our girls, not these guns. He's absolutely right. Shouts out to you, Larry. You always gonna be loved around these parts, man.
Yeah, shout out. Dude, they didn't do a tribute video for him or Dyson.
This is your tribute. This is your tribute right here. All right, we're gonna send it straight to the Pelicans. We ain't got no ill will. Don't put 30 on our head again. But we really appreciate y'all services y'all here for the last 2 years.
Welcome back, Mason. We were just talking about Missi and a few others. But yeah, just we'll bring it back into the fold. We're Pelicans clearly missing a ton of talent. Can't really belabor that point any further. Yep. I think there's 2 pieces of information that we need to talk about. The first one is they signed Jaylen Nowell.
Yes.
And let's talk about that for a second from a contractual standpoint, and then let's talk about it on a basketball standpoint. Contractually, it's going to be some form of non-guaranteed deal. You're not allowed to sign 10 days yet. So because they can't sign 10 days yet, they have to get creative with the contract structure. Jaylen Nowell was not on any team at the moment. He was just sitting there in free agency. So they went ahead and they signed him to a deal that's basically it's a vet min, and it's going to be non-guaranteed to the point where they can basically cut him at any point that they need to. AKA when it's going to function as a 10-day, even though it's not a 10-day. It's going to cost them roughly $13,000 a day every day he's on the roster, essentially. And that's a first of all, shout out Jaylen Nowell for getting that check, man. That's a great check.
It sounds crazy, right? Like, hey, man.
Yeah. But the reason this is important is the Pelicans were already over the luxury tax. They were holding a roster spot open for money-saving purposes, and now the injuries just got so bad, they were like, okay, we need to at least have somebody in just, for worst-case scenario purposes. And they brought in Jaylen Nowell. So Mason, since we have you back now, what are your thoughts on them actually committing to signing a player and it being this one? There's other guards out there. There's, Fultz is out there, frankly.
Yeah. It just shows how the spot that they're stuck in right now. And it's because like you look at the guys who are out, and other than Zion, like there's no help coming the next couple of weeks. And so I think this is self-preservation, right? I mean, and so when you go and do that, you probably want to, if you're adding someone new, you want to find someone with real NBA experience. I think someone who's played real games that matter, and because they've got enough of the guys that are, potentially good, right? And not to say Noel's good, but there's a reason he was available, right? But at the same time, he's played meaningful minutes before, and I think that is what they needed if they were going to sign someone different, and just roll with that versus players they already have. So that's I guess that's what it means to me. But again, it just shows that they're desperate for real bodies right now, and they will be for the next week or two.
Bodies that can dribble.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Bodies who won't get blown up on the DHO time and time and time again.
Yeah, look, he can score. You know, he hasn't really stuck around in the league yet. I can't, you know, I can't pretend to be the expert on this guy, so I don't know why he hasn't stuck around. But you know, he's definitely a streaky guy off the bench who is capable of doing many things on the court. I hope that they're able to utilize him in some form or fashion in the next few games or so to really make this excursion into the tax further worth it. I think for me, it just raises my antennas a little bit, where it's like, okay, you're further in the tax, so that means you are at some point making a move to get out of it. Some point, you know, you are going to do something, and you know, I just, oh my god, where's Isaiah Thomas? Why hasn't he tweeted about this yet? Why isn't he like? I'm ready to leave.
No. David's right. We can only have one guy under 5'10" on this team, and Jose has already cornered that market. No.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's pretty funny. No, it would be interesting to see if the Pelicans actually do treat this as a 10-day and they're kind of gaming the situation where, okay, after 10 days or so, they cut him and then they bring in another guy to take a look at. And then, you know, maybe that's where that you see someone else like Fultz or you know, any other name that's out there. I shout out to the Subby gang. You know, there was a few guys in there like analyzing his shot charts and stuff, and I forgot who it was, but someone was like, "I think you guys care too much about the shot profile of the 15th man on the roster."
Yeah, man. If we're depending on the 15th man, we should be looking at capturing the flag more than anything else, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really care about this guy's room at 3 rate right now. Like, if he's getting minutes on the court, then you know it's all cooked. Anyway, okay, cool. They signed Jaylen Nowell. We haven't seen him yet. They say we got garbage time minutes out of him tonight.
Yeah.
Again, big takeaway here. They're gonna have to make a move to get under the tax. The DeJounte contract situation is not gonna get them there, and so something needs to happen. Which we've talked about this ad nauseum. What's it gonna be? Easiest path is Brandon, or is it CJ? You know, those are your main targets everyone's looking at. Hawkins off playing awfully well. Mr. President, I don't know what that means for your future. But the second piece of information, Zion not playing. You know, this would be 3 games in 4 nights in this stretch. You know, the Pelicans played on Friday night. They would play a Sunday and then Monday against the Trailblazers. So the Pelicans in the early portions of last year sat Zion on back-to-backs, particularly in 3 and 4 night stretches. I don't know if this is more of that or if this is a legitimate thing. So what the reporting that came out of the pregame stuff was, you know, he kind of showed up to shoot around with this, and that's when he expressed it. And then Willie Green, the medical and performance team is the team that makes the decision, and that's how these things go. We don't have a great bit of clarity into the process. I'll put this on you guys. Just is this a cause for concern? Is this just, you know, more of the same? Where are you at on this?
You go ahead, Mace. You can start, and I'll say something.
I mean, assuming it is what you're saying it is, Shamit, that it's just like a 3 and 4 nights type thing, I think it really speaks to the state of the Pelicans roster that this was the game he set. I'm not gonna. I don't want to speculate on whether or not this is a real injury, because that's going to take me down a path that I want to go down right now. There's too many other bad things going on with this team to pile on that. But I think if this team was even moderately healthy, you would say, all right, Portland at home, we should be able to take care of business for that one, and we want Zion playing against Atlanta. Because the roster is so depleted, they probably looked at the opposite way and said, Atlanta might be, you know, we if we win that one, great, but we really need to win the Portland one, and so Zion's going to play against Portland. And so it's just it's a bummer again about the state of the roster. I don't pretend to know about Zion's injury situation, but if it is the 3 and 4 nights, then it's a bummer that we are where we are regardless.
Yeah, I'm not concerned in the slightest. I don't think it's even, you know, have to work his way in shape because he's been much more active this year compared to last year. He's already had 3 double-doubles compared to just having one in his first 5 games. I think it's a precautionary issue. I think they're thinking about the entire season, not this game. And like you guys said, they probably looked at the schedule. They looked at what we got and like, hey, you could play today, but we really need to get this season series tied up with Portland if we play them 4 times. Like we need the Western Conference wins more than we need the Eastern Conference win. So rest up today, big fella. Shamit put a post on the YouTube channel with him warming up, so you can see that I'm not that great with measuring how he could jump and whatnot. He looked pretty
I mean, they're never
decent
going
to
hard
me.
during warm
That's
ups.
not going hard. He looked pretty decent to me. People were talking about, well, look at his left shot. Like he looked fine to
What?
me. He looked like he was just
Here's where I'm at with that.
he's testing it
So
out. So it's
because
good
I
for me.
watched that. Yeah, because I watched that warm up in person and I see him do these every single time. I didn't think there was really a meaningful difference between the warm up he did today and the warm ups he typically does. He didn't throw down his end of warm up dunk that he normally does. Oh no, big deal. Um, what I'll say is in the past where he's been questionable and not playing, you won't even see him in the warm ups. You won't even see him attempt to go through the warm up. So he did it. I don't know what that really means. I do think there's an element of truth to like he probably like woke up like, okay, this kind of feels weird, and they're like, okay, hamstring. Alarm bells went off because
Yeah.
he's had a history of hamstrings, and they're like, sure, whatever, feel it out, but you're probably not playing tonight. And I think that's that. It is unfortunate that the hamstring seems to be a recurring thing, but I am not going to comment on it further unless he's missing extended time again,
Yep.
or failing to get back on the court, after missing extended time. So let's cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah, I guess the last thing is like maybe I'm misremembering, but this was a late designation compared to the usual, right? Or is that
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's normally like around 1, and this was like literally an hour and a half before the game.
yeah,
They just said it. So I just, like you said, wonder if he just felt something that was like, let's not risk it. We got to play it back to back. Just whatever.
people getting
I'm not
alerts,
reading much into it.
people getting alerts and shit on their phone as they're getting ready to go down to the arena. It's just really, really fun stuff.
Yo, Rel was like, "Are you serious? I just left the house."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's been 3 home games, and the Pelicans have seen him for one of them.
You want to
That's
know?
unfortunate.
Want to know what's Zion at home?
People trying to
Yeah.
people trying to wash off the Saints game, and it's like, all right, that's all right. Zion's playing, Bi's playing. We're gonna be fine tonight. And
Yo, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit of what Mason said on Twitter. Hey, man, if that coach over there on Airline Drive get this type of leash, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy. It's getting crazy, man.
Yeah. Look, I think part of the thing with Zion is like you can't ever take any of his injuries in a vacuum because of the totality of his career so far, right? The way his career has gone with starting from the bubble to where they hit the hamstring to just missing extended periods of time and never really coming back in the scheduled time frame that he's allotted been scheduled to come back in, and then falling out of shape, and then the organization just being secretive with his injuries, and then him also being cagey with, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on there, and I'm not trying to assign the blame to any given individual, and I'm not trying to bring up old trauma either, but the fact is, if this was if this was like Herb, you'd be like, oh yeah, Herb probably felt something, it's whatever, and you wouldn't think twice of it. You'd be like, all right, it sucks that he's not playing, but it is, everything that Zion goes through comes with the weight of everything he's also gone through in the past. And at this point, I think everyone is just like, cool, we're probably not ever going to get the most clear answers from any of the parties. Because look, to be very clear, the players can control how the injury information is released and what is released and when they have a great deal of control over it. So the organization does have its hands tied, and that's led to a lot of the uncertainty around his situations in the past. But in this situation, I really and truly think it's like probably felt weird.
Yep.
They were like, we are not risking this, not against this team, not this early, not against the first night of back to back, 3 and 4 nights, just not doing it. And I think that was that.
It's crazy that just being normal is a breakthrough with this team.
They're trying, man. They're not. They're certainly not. There's not things happening in the locker room where players are confronting reporters physically.
Oh, but hey, people, leave people's family out of this. Don't be weird. Don't be weird, man.
Also, just leave like the personal stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Just talk about basketball. Like,
Yeah.
just don't. You don't need to talk about. And you know what? We're preaching. We're preaching to the choir here. No, there's not nothing really.
Yeah. Don't be weird. Meeting people. Don't be weird. Don't bring people family members and people in cities. Leave people's homes alone. I don't like that.
Oh, Bobby Portis.
Yeah,
bro.
Bobby Portis. Like, what is going on with people, man? Are y'all losing your minds?
Man. But speaking of Bobby Portis, unfortunate situation there. The Bucks are cooked.
Hey, man, their two best players played out of their mind, and they still lost to the Red Hot Cavs.
They can't score. They're just a team that cannot score, and they got two incredible scorers, and they are cooked. The Pelicans own the top 4 protected pick. So if it's 1 through 4, it goes to the Pelicans this year, and then they own a swap for next year, and then they own the following year's pick too. They get to get the most favorable of theirs or the Bucks. It's incredible.
So I'll ask you, Mace, which is crazier, going 30-13 and firing that coach, or bringing in Doc and what's going on right now? Because I don't know.
I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride, man. Especially when shit's going the way it's going in New Orleans.
If this turns into a Capture the Flag podcast,
you're gonna
one way or another.
No,
we're gonna have
that
fun
way. One way in particular. No, we're not gonna have any other. We need just one way. I don't want to be blamed for bringing the bad vibes. Hey, you brought this new guy on, and every time y'all want to talk, they lose. No, I don't want to be any parts of that. Oh, man.
All right. So I think we can end it on that note. Hopefully the next week gives us a lot more to talk about in a positive way. I think we should be, Trey Murphy is ramping up. I think of the non-Zion people, he should be the first to return. They have a couple of back-to-backs coming, so he's not going to come back for one of those. But I wouldn't be surprised in the next 7 to 10 days or so he's on the court. Would be a welcome sight for sure.
I guess I'll do this thing again. Hey, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Like, we appreciate y'all views. Get us up to 400 subscribers. We're going to start with a smaller number. We're at 375 in the last one. Get us to 400. Like the video, share the video. Again, anybody you know, put the video on. Also, check out the Substack. I just wrote my tiers. How happy should you be with your team? I let you know. Eastern Conference teams in Philly, Milwaukee. Be happy. I only talk about the Western Conference. But everyone else, I'm pretty much happy with your team, one way or another. Even if Fred VanVleet is shooting worse than my age, I still find ways to be happy about your team. Again, like, subscribe. When this is out, it's going to be out on audio too. Subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcast. Will be there for your listening pleasure as well as your visual pleasure. Be easy.